Try to smile.
What do you mean try? Okay, that part's not hard.
Today is April 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been in business how long?
We did do a soft opening in October, but mostly I tell people November since we've been here. Or that's how long, so.
And it just opened up. We just put up a sign.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more people coming in. Yay!
Woohoo!
Organic traffic. Shout out to Carmen, who has been posting her videos very much into health and wellness.
Yeah, she's been getting really into it, and the tea she made is just freaking fantastic.
Yes.
No matter how you have it. I love that tea.
We will tag her below with the tea.
Absolutely.
The self-help, I think, what I found is that when people care about health and wellness, it really shows.
Yes, it does.
That's why I knew you would be a great candidate, and it helps that you were one of the first employees / become manager.
Kind of cheated that way.
Yeah, it happens, but there's actually a few people who are going that same route, who've gone that route. Sounds like tea house.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got back from being sick.
Yes, I'm still a little, you can kind of hear it. Good thing I have congestus on sample.
Good job, I take my vitamins. I drink a lot of tea.
Yeah, for sure.
What's something new that what are some of the things you've learned in launching your own business? Because you've done some other stuff in the past, but now you got a brick-and-mortar location. You got this little child.
Yeah,
and a husband too. There's a lot of responsibility, but you made the jump.
Yeah.
So many people, fear will just keep them from going. It's really fear from the unknown. So what is it you learned?
Oh man, I don't want to say get this off the ground because it was never on the ground. But running all the numbers to make sure that this was, what's the word I want to use? This was sustainable. My husband has a degree in data analysis, so the amount of numbers he made me look at.
He made me look at too. Yay, Jeremy.
Yay, Jeremy. He was doing a lot of data to see like what things would pull in more, what things we should stock more, what things we should push more. So having that background has been helpful for just me as more of like
it's money.
Right.
Does it make money? Is it sustainable? Is it a profit?
For sure. So he's kind of helped me like, okay, you're the front, here are the things you should focus on. If you want to pivot, here's what we need to do. Been very good about that. So getting this started, once I could get my risk-averse husband to agree to it, was like, let's go.
You know, it's really good to have a healthy balance.
Absolutely. I think we were lucky in the way that we technically don't have any loans out. We took them out personally.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so and any loan we have is to our own personal bank account. And I realize how lucky and how kind of odd that is, because I've talked to a couple people.
I mean, you do owe for that tea we just dropped off.
I know, I am going to have to pay you for that. Nothing is free in this business, believe me.
Net 90, I'm sure.
Net 90.
It's all right.
But I have had a couple people reach out to me that like knew me personally and were like, how did you do this? Not that they were surprised that I made the jump to be a business owner, but exactly how did I go about the process? And for a lot of them, the money and like the seed money has been the problem. So a lot of people are looking more like, I need to take out a loan, I need to get an investment before I do something like this. But that is attainable if that's what you want to do.
Okay, I'm going to speak a little too soon right now because, but I do it anyways.
That's okay.
Forgive me. My web developer and I were talking about coming back from the World Tea Expo.
Yeah.
About a pilot program that we want to offer, offering a grant, because there are many people who want the tea industry to grow. They want health and wellness to grow, and they just need money. And so we're going to put together a grant. A few of the people that I've been in the industry saying, well, we know tea, we know marketing, we know this, but business, we need someone like that. And it's a different, like you could be really good at marketing, you could be really good at finances and accounting, you can even be good at sales, but that doesn't convert in business. And so we're putting together a grant. It probably won't be ready until maybe July.
That's quicker than I would have expected.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, people are going to be like, I can't wait. I need to start my business now.
No, but you're right. I'm actually really glad you're telling me about that grant, because that just makes it so much easier for people that love tea and love health to just get into it and to jump off that cliff.
It's not, the biggest problem is not money.
Right.
It's time, it's energy.
Yes.
It's, do you have the time to put in? Do you have the energy? Can you fight that desire to be like, I'm afraid of the unknown? You know, that's, as a business owner, you're always scraping for more time and energy. You experienced that, right?
Absolutely. Part of the reason why I did this was because I have a family, and when they need me, I want to be able to be there and not have to call out from work, be disciplined for not being there, all of these things. And I feel so free having done this. Yay. It's so important.
that I don't like the term financial freedom. I don't. It's such a overused term. It's just called freedom.
Yeah.
If you have the freedom, and you can use that freedom to be like, forget all you guys, and then you suffer the consequences, and you have the freedom to put in more hours and reap the benefits.
Right.
And you're experiencing that.
Yeah, and it's just funny to have been in the workforce for so long, and now I'm like, wait, it's my decision when I want to take time off. It's my decision when I want to open. If I have to be late for whatever reason, I can put a sign on the door and nobody's mad.
And you, and it took you only 4 months to learn that, right?
Yeah, quick.
That was awesome. I remember getting on the phone and talking to you and your husband, like, no, you're going to switch how you think. And even then, it's like, oh, this is very uncomfortable. I'm like, but once you get there, you no longer look at life the same.
Right.
You no longer look at people who work for themselves the same. You no longer look at the person in the drive-thru the same. You no longer look at the person who's the gardener who's like, wow, you know, it's a really hard job, but at any time they could be like, yeah, I'm taking the day off. I'm not going to do it. Or and that is freedom.
That really is.
And I think personally, being a military man, I worked 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week for years, okay? It's like, okay, well, I can put in 10, 12-hour days, no sweat, 6 days a week, and be just fine.
Yeah, and when it's something you're passionate about, it's that much easier to do.
It is. I found like the business, first it was just, I like people. That was the passion, and then from people it became the people in the industry. I really like that, and what the industry supports. Next year, Claire will be at the World Tea Expo.
For sure.
Is as in like, I'm going to invite her.
Oh goodness!
Jeremy,
thank goodness.
You gotta say yes.
Come on, Jeremy, let me go. Come with.
Yes. And when the goal is, we're going to set up a booth and we're going to share this pilot program of business development.
Yes, that'll be great.
Because there's so many people, and I know there's people watching from the World Tea Expo, because I know there's people in the analytics. I know there's people who are like, I should have went, but I didn't.
We see you.
There's a tea bar for people to meet and talk, and that was built because they wanted people to engage and have conversation. I remember when there was no tea bar, and there's the tea bar there, but I want to be able to have a booth where I invite people to sit in and say, this is a business development booth where you can sit down and have conversations about business development, or this is where you meet where people who are trying to launch their business, or these are my favorite people. Yeah. The people who built the business, it's making some money or it's making some sales, but it's really not profitable. And I'm like, okay, that means you already have a vehicle and there's an engine in it, and either you're the driver and you got to get out, or you're on the wrong road. Yeah. And you really need to be put in an environment, which means you're going about it differently. Like, you just need a sign, right? Isn't that crazy how much?
I can't believe how, like, it was palpable. The sign went up and people came in. And it was just like, how much did I pay Yelp? And all I needed was the overhead sign.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing also in business, and I'm so glad we're talking about this, is you don't know until you try.
Absolutely.
And there is... I want to kind of cut this part. We're going to make this into a shorter video right here. But for the people who want to watch the whole thing, good for you. Glad you're here. In business, there are two types of ways to look at business. There's transactional and cumulative. Transactional is, I spent $2,000 on that sign when you get the fees, then the contractor to get it manufactured, and it brought in 20% more people, and 20% over a 6-month span, it paid for itself. Right? But there are people who will do that with a billboard. They're like, well, I spent that much money on a billboard, I didn't see the transaction. Yeah, but there's something to be said, and that's the cumulative, where you're looking at, there are people who are watching it, they're going to look it up, and that doesn't necessarily convert to a transaction. It does turn into visits, it does turn into shares. Hey, did you see that? Oh, I've been driving around for years. That is more of a long range business. Short term is just transactional. You're just thinking every cup of tea you're selling, every online order. But cumulative, you're playing the long term game.
Absolutely.
And the most successful businesses play the long term game. They look at it both transactional and cumulative, and it has to make sense financially.
It does.
So, have you heard that concept before?
Of things being cumulative? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's a stacked effect of everything you add on. So it's the stacking of the sign, it's the stacking of the social media videos you put out, it's the stacking of word of mouth, it's the stacking of people driving by, like you said. So it doesn't have one effect typically that you can just point at. It usually has an effect that continues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a time where I did billboards for a few months, and we saw the traffic, but the real return was to see what kind of billboards worked.
Right.
What kind of signage works.
Yeah.
Remember when I told you we're going to put that now hiring sign? You'd be like, Fernando, we don't do it. I was like, just trust me.
Yeah, and then people would come in, even if they didn't buy anything, they always wanted to know more about the position. I was able to tell them. They were able to apply if they wanted to.
We are hiring for Redondo Beach still.
The farmer's market? I'm going to stop. Okay, for sure. If someone walks in here, I'm going to tell them that.
Redondo Beach, Cal State Dominguez Hills, Carson.
Is there a Gardena market?
There is a Gardena market right now. I don't have this. I don't have the bandwidth to do it all.
We need more people.
You're growing and building, and that's business.
Yeah, it is business.
So, what's been your favorite part about business that you didn't think was going to be fun?
Honestly, getting to know the people, because I have a good kind of like facial memory, so I may not know everyone's name, but when they come in, I'm like, oh yeah, how was the golden milk? Did you come back for more? Kind of thing, and they remember things like that. So like I kind of get a little bit of a higher place like in their mind of like, oh, Claire remembers me, Claire cares, and whatever they come in asking for, of course I care, and if I don't have it, I get it for them. So it's when you said people are going to come for you, and I kind of like brushed you off like I'm just an NPC selling tea, and I was completely wrong. People do come for the personality you put out, the service you put out, the vibe that's in the shop, all of it. So that's been my favorite part.
That was also a difficult thing for me to comprehend.
Yeah.
And I was doing it for years. It wasn't until I had people come in like, hey, it's Fernando. I'm like, and I would be kind of a smart ass. I'm like, yeah, I work here. Yeah. She's like, oh, you're not as nice in person. And I was like, okay.
Well, you're a business owner. No. You have 18 things going.
Well, yeah, I remember that time I was like yelling at one of the people in the back, like, how did you mix that tea wrong? Like, oh my gosh, that's like $1,000 in goji berries. Just wasted.
Sit there and pick them all out.
Oh no. Make any blend with it or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the signage, the people getting to know you, but it's also a mindset.
Yeah.
What was the mindset like change? What was the change in mindset like?
What's funny is I think if you talk to my husband, he's like, oh, well, you had to change your mindset and your motivation because now you need to make money. And it's never been like that. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit more introspective or like a quieter person typically. So doing something like this isn't necessarily hard for me. I can be outgoing. I don't even want to call it putting on a front or playing a role because I'm not. This is just how I am as a person in my shop. You come in, I want to help you. I want to get you what you need. I want to get to know you, and I want you to come back. So like if there's been a shift, it's been be more open. Like if there's anything I think I could do more is straight up open my front door, but I'm cold.
So we actually started doing that at our cafe.
Yeah.
And it's noticeably different.
It is, yeah.
We gotta just wipe the traffic, and then the AC right now that's a hard button.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure when like it's more summer months, I'll definitely have the door open more, and we'll be able to see that palpable change as well. It's also easier with the data if you make like one change at a time, so
Absolutely.
that way you can see like, oh, it was this that brought this in.
You know that Richard Branson, do you know who he is?
Keep going. That sounds
Virgin Airlines. Virgin
Yeah.
He's the
There we
guy.
go.
One of the things that he said is that you got to stay curious, and that's that openness.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the first person to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney, Mark Cuban, Oprah. That open Oprah is in a league of her own.
Oh my God.
I don't want to go off on that, but she is really. I don't think she gets enough credit. She's being a black woman, and she came from entertainment, but she built a whole network. Like she's like head and shoulders above just all women, not even just black women.
In a way, yeah, you can definitely say that. And she came from next to nothing. She built this empire. I think you've made it when you can have an entire program segment in daytime of, this is all the stuff I like, buy it. Like, that's when you know you've made it.
But that was required for her to be open. And at the World Tea Expo, I met a lot of black women, women who, of color,
Mm-hmm.
and it was interesting to see that type of openness and regard. I was talking to this one woman, I'm not going to mention her name,
Sure.
but she is from Africa, and she has, I'm not going to mention, she's got tattoos on her face, because that was like the cultural
Because that's
thing.
tribal, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, there were more than one. So I was talking, I was kind of pushing that openness to her,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a resistance. But I said, but just think about it,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, I started this company, I built this, I do that, and I'm just telling you, I don't think the GoDaddy website's the right move. I don't think that talking to this person's the right move.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in business long enough, you'll see the open-mindedness of like, I don't want to trust you, I don't want to do that type of business,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen it and I've heard it enough times where I really need to be open to it.
Yeah.
And that openness is worth multi-millions.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that other people was talking about is how important it is to be on camera.
Yeah. I've noticed a big, not jump in the social media, but I am in a brick-and-mortar store in Torrance, California. There is a limited amount of people that I can reach on a daily basis, face-to-face, in this shop. When I do something online, I can educate people that don't live in the area. I can inform people that we're here in Los Angeles. Maybe someone's not close to my location, but they'll pop up in the Whittier Cafe.
Well, yeah, but they'll also like, hey, you gotta go see Claire. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen those messages.
Yes, they come up all the time. I've been getting requests on, hey, what's your opinion on ginger? Can you do a deep dive on ginger?
Please
I
send all
love these
messages
things.
to Carmen. She went to school for acting.
You mean Claire. You
What did I
said
say?
Carmen.
Carmen.
That's a good blooper.
Carmen is not.
That's
I
okay.
don't know what she went to school. I know she's very smart.
Oh yeah, she's
We
crazy.
went to the
smart.
World Tea Expo. It was like walking. It was like 24 access to a self-help audiobook.
And did you see the funny part where she had accidentally kept her camera on slow-mo the whole time, so all the footage she took is in slow-mo?
I did not.
I just saw that on her social media and I just died laughing. Because I'm like, I can imagine how upset she would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Or she was.
It created a lot of comment. Well, I said you can come back next year. I think if
Exactly.
if you show up, that'd be great. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a lot of people to show up to the World Tea Expo. The people who own the World Tea Expo, it's owned by a company called Quezex. It used to be owned by the tea people,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's more of a hospitality corporate entity. Kind of like all of Vegas. Vegas is owned by like two corporations.
Yeah.
Bally's and something else. But there is a demand, and it's not very difficult to get in. You just have to change the mindset, and it requires money. You got to have money.
Yeah.
Three things that I asked people at the World Tea Expo. They were like, "I want to start a business." I said, "Well, I want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's three things you need: time, money, and energy.
Mm-hmm.
What are you willing to give up?"
Mm-hmm.
I will not give up time. I will just won't do it. I have I have my own little girls, my own kids,
Mm-hmm.
and a wife who wants me home. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not something that.
That's
I
more
like to do.
important than anything, and you have to remember that as a business owner.
Yeah, but it's difficult for some people. They're like, well, it's easy for you to say because you already made the switch. It's like, yeah, I made the switch.
Yeah.
But if you are not open to that,
Mm-hmm.
then in my mind and in my attitude is like, if you think money is going to be the one that solves your issues,
Mm-hmm.
you'll always be poor.
Right.
Give that video a thumbs up or comment if you disagree, haters. I'm just joking. Comment anyways. I love the hater comments.
Oh, I know, they're fun. I haven't had any yet. I'm waiting for one just so I can
yeah.
like roast it.
Oh yeah. You want a list of things to talk about?
Hell yeah, give me your haters.